this is where sometimes the problem comes at this point. The market is gone, and why am I still painting something that doesn't exist? And yet, you know, how can you not paint a guy holding a halibut like that? What's not to like about that? Okay, well, I was taking a class at the Art Students League, and the class assignment was to bring back an action painting. And someone said, well, go to the fish market. There's lots of action there. And so I climbed on the subway, and I thought, gosh, you know, all the fish are dead. There's no action there. But I had already invested my 15 cents, so I kept on my journey, and I walked down Fulton Street, and I just encountered the most amazing activity there. I was 20 years old, new to the city. I was just absolutely charmed by it, and I could not stay away. I would come to the market in the mornings before my class to sketch. And when I got on the subway to go to class every day, I always got a seat because people, for some reason, parted the way for me because I stank of fish. And packed up my paints every day, took the ferry across, schlepped up to Bleecker Street and Fulton Street, set up my easel, started painting. So I left Staten Island, jettisoned all my possessions, and moved into Bleecker Street on the second floor of this fish house. I lived on the second floor there. The 3 left windows looked onto my apartment. I slept on the floor between my bicycle, my computer, and my easel, and my art supplies and everything. And outside I could hear all the guys in the morning and during the night yelling and screaming and doing their fish thing, and to me it was just a lullaby. So I struck up an arrangement with one of the fishmongers. They would work in the space from 3 to 11 a.m. and I would come in the afternoon from noon to 6 and have my show. I sent out invitations and even had an opening for the fish market guys at 8 a.m. Just sitting among scales and fish boxes every day. And I would walk through this silent, dark Chinatown, and then I would come across this glow, which was the market. And I would hear, you know, a little bit of the activity as I got closer, and then the roar of it as I came upon it. And the height of activity was around 3 to 6 in the morning. You'd have absolute chaos, especially with the fish cutters, the way their hands moved. I mean, there's nothing more interesting than watching a guy cutting fish. And I like to come down at all times of the market to see the rhythm of it and to see the light. In the early part of the night, you had the dark streets, and then little by little, all the lights would come on, and then by 1 o'clock in the morning, the place was ablaze. You had intense light focused on the fish and the work areas, and just a few feet beyond, you would have total darkness. And it was interesting to see the journeymen, for instance, load up in this intensely lit part of the street on South Street. They would load up their hand trucks, go to the loading zones, and be swallowed up by total darkness. I've had this, gosh, forever. All the fish market ones, they sort of had the same color fields, and I didn't need to clean off my palette. It was Giuliani who got the ball rolling and started the move that actually took place. On November 11th, 2005, it was a Friday. It was the last day of business here. They closed 9 o'clock in the morning, and then mayhem erupted, and then 3 o'clock on Monday morning, they were in full swing. You know, I go there and look for inspiration, but you know, there's something sort of lacking there in all that cleanliness and white light and spaciousness. You had a soul here. Up there, you've got a business. I take great pleasure in getting to know something really well. And having painted the fish market for so many decades, and I know the nuances of fish, and of the light and how it falls on these fish. So I say to myself, well, hell, I'm going to keep painting the fish market.